Today we got Glen, and he's the owner of K&G Five-Star Barber College in Texas. He has two schools, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about the program and how he got into the program and how he started. So Glen, introduce yourself, and we're just going to listen to you talk.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, Chan. My name is Glen Wilson from Houston, Texas area. Like Mr. Chen was saying, I have two schools now. I started off in 1989 when I got the Marine Corps in the Barber College. Once I finished barber school, I had desire to get my own barber shop. And once I got into the barber industry, I started thinking about schools. And once I started going towards that direction, I figured that it was a lot more to it from a school, from a barber shop. They're totally two different businesses. So I got into the barber business and decided to go embark upon the school. And that's what led me to where I am today.
What year did you open your school?
We opened the school, Chan. The first school was my wife and I opened up in March 2010.
March 2010. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And what made you want to open this school?
Actually, Chan, being an aspiring barber for years, I seen where schools were going in a different direction as far as educating the barbers, as far as the business side of it and the etiquette side of it. So I decided to open up something that would take the school to a different level here in the state of Texas.
Now, when you transitioned from the barber shop to the school, what did people say about that?
Well, it was a lot of doubt, because the people that I was speaking with were currently school owners here in Texas. And so I networked with the owners in Texas, just trying to get some feedback on where should I get started, how should I get started to open up a school. And, to no avail, I got negative feedback from other business owners.
And we met at accreditation, a NACA convention, right?
Yes, sir.
Now,
and that was, going into it, Mr. Chen, my goal, like I told my wife when we got there, our goal was to meet with someone that was already in the business, because again, we just got started, and taking it to the accreditation status is totally different from a regular barber school without the accreditation status. So those are totally two different business, and we knew going into it we had to find someone that was qualified, that was experienced, that was willing to give us information that would help us to proceed to be successful in the business.
So tell us about that process.
Well, actually, the process started when I met you. It was in New Orleans. We went to a accreditation NACA conference, and that was our first conference going. And I was telling my wife, I said, we need to find someone here that's in the same industry as we are in barbering, that would we could speak with, just give us some type of a mentorship as far as how to go. And it just so happened we was in the break, and you were in the hallway standing there with some blue jeans and a t-shirt. I remember like it was yesterday. And I approached you. I think you had some Starbucks or some coffee in your hand, and you were on the phone, but I approached you and asked, could I speak with you? Because I noticed we had name tags on. I noticed you had a barber school, because you was a barber school owner. So that's what drew me to you, was because of that. I was looking for someone, but just so happened, during our break, you was the first person that I stumbled upon.
Now, so tell us where you are now, because I know you got two schools. Tell us how much your tuition is. Tell us all about that. We
Yes,
want
sir.
to know about the brag. We want to know about the good stuff now.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Well, right now we're fortunate and blessed to have two schools. We have a accredited school. Our current tuition is $25,000, and we just opened up a sister school, which is not accredited yet because it's a different name, but in the same umbrella. Right now we're charging $7,000 for our tuition.
But how much is the tuition at the other school?
For the accredited school, it's $25,000. And for the non-accredited school, it's $7,000.
How does it feel for the government to give you $25,000 a student?
It feels good, especially when you're putting in the work and you're doing it for a cause, meaning we're not doing it for the money. We see the benefit of what we're giving, which is true education and, you know, career guidance, you know. So really, it feels good to be doing what we're doing. But at the same token, you know, we're doing it coming straight from our hearts and striving to give the students quality education to where they can get out the industry and be successful, and perhaps someday do the same thing that my wife, are doing.
What advice would you give a barber or stylist that's working behind the chair, that's contemplating on getting into the program, and but they're scratching their head and they're wondering about this?
Well, you know, they say, Chan, information changes your situation. So I would recommend highly, and I'm not just saying this because you and I are talking on camera, but I've just been sincere from the heart. I was sincere, express that it's very vital that they speak with someone that's willing with an open heart and to give them the information that's needed, and that person would be you.
Now, how was it when you went back and talked to like old friends and they saw that you were successful running your schools and all of that?
Well, you know, I remember you and I talking at a conference, and you made a comment to me that stuck with me. And you said you was talking to me about a particular circle of friends that I have to have. And keep in mind, you know, I never had a mentor in this business. So you were the first person that I really spoke with that was giving me advice on the business. So I remember you was telling me that, you know, Glenn, you have to be the brokers in your circle and the less wise in your circle. And that brought to me, you know, an awareness of who I need to be associating with. So in doing so, taking that advice you gave me, you know, I found myself being alone. And now, you know, when I want to talk to someone, he lives in Tennessee or he lives in a different state than I do. So, you know, I've learned that, you know, when you go through that journey of success in our career or any career that you're striving to be successful at, your company has to be totally different from your normal company. And that's what took me to the level we're right now.
Also, the barbers that doubted you back then, what are they doing now?
They're doing nothing. I mean, I just have to be very honest with you, you know, and that's a very good question because it's just something me and my wife were just talking about today. You know, I look at the barbers now who, because, you know, in my class now, Chan, what I do is I come straight from the heart as far as telling them my journey and how I got there and how important it is to have mentors like yourself that's been there and that's done it. And I realize that not everybody's going to receive it. You know, not everyone is willing to change. And the ones that were willing to change, I see to where they're now open their business and they're doing good in the barber industry. You know, I can name on one hand of 4 or 5 barbers that came through my program and that was really, really instrumental. And I mean, they were very just receiving the information I was giving them. And they're doing great, you know, for the ones that took in and received the information that was given to them.
So when did it pop into your head, or did a light bulb just go off in your head? You just woke up one day and said, I'm gonna open up a school? How did that happen?
You know, when I was in barber school, Chan, the owner of the school that I went to was very instrumental because him and his wife invited me to a birthday party that they were giving at their home. And he gave me directions to the home. And so, to make a long story short, when I got to the destination, you know, I came across a security gate with a security guard, gated community. So I called the owner up. I said, sir, I think I'm lost. He said, well, where are you? And I gave him the information. He said, no, you're at the right place. Just tell the security guard your name, and you're on the list. And I'm like, wow, because again, I've never known barbers can live that type of lifestyle. So as I'm driving to his gated community and got to his destination, to his home, I went to the backyard, Chin, and where the activity was being held. And this guy, the the neighborhood, first of all, just blew my mind. And the same type of home that he lived in and his family environment and just the whole festivity, I'm like,
so when I went to the backyard of his home, I seen someone that had a swim up bar in his pool. I mean, everything was just laid out so nicely, but his home and the neighborhood was just so fascinating, so nice. I'm like, wow, this is how barbers live. And so that was my genesis of saying, you know what, I could do the same thing he doing. And that was the start of my beginning of me, my quest as far as going towards a barber school.
Okay. Now, how many students do you have what's the largest number of students you had at the school?
Right now, we currently have 27 students.
At the accredited school?
Yes, sir. We have 27 at our accredited school. In our non-accredited school that we just opened, we have a total of 9 students.
Okay. That's a lot.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything, I know you got a lot of stuff. Is there anything else you want to share with people out there or future school owners or somebody? Because somebody's going to be on YouTube or Instagram, Facebook, social media watching this.
You know, Chan, first of all, I just want to thank you for having me on here. And I just want to express to you, I think I have before, but I know my wife and I would not be here where we are doing what we're doing and blessed to be doing what we're doing, where we're going, had not been for you. You know, you did a lot of good things for me and my family that, you know, that I just don't want to put out there and people think, oh, no, but it's real what you have done. I mean, we have students, when you came down to our school and, you know, and guided my wife and I and showed us the things that we should be doing, the things that we were doing wrong, the way you critiqued us. That's why we are where we are right now. I have to be very honest with you, you know, because again, you don't find people like yourself with the status that you have that's rendering their time. Because again, time is valuable. And you took the time out, you know, and we didn't even pay you, you know, and came out to Texas and just gave us, you know, the things that we needed. And, you know, again, we started off with nothing. And so we fell across a little situation where we didn't have the capital that was needed. That's another thing. You know, a lot of people get in this business, but you need working capital. Well, my wife and I didn't have that. And my wife was sitting down and we was wondering, how are we going to come up with this money for our last audit? You know, how are we going to do this, baby? And we sitting there thinking, Chin, you know, as a man, I was like, wow, baby, you know what? I believe that Chin respects us and understands what we're striving to do. Let's put our pride aside and just ask. You know, only thing he can do is say no, and we respect that. You're a business owner, and I understand that because I don't loan money to my parents or to my friends. So more or less, here I am, a stranger coming to a stranger, you know, and taking a chance and saying, you know, Mr. Chin, you know, we need help. So I just want to say to you, Chin, that thank you so much, because when you came down and did what you did, and my wife got on the phone and asked you for the loan, and I you know, and you gave it to us. I mean, again, words are inadequate to let you know how much we really appreciate what you did, because again, had it not been for you, Chin, we wouldn't be talking right now. And I have to be straight up honest with you personally, you know, and I never got a chance to let you know and express to you how much I appreciate what you've done for me and my family. I mean, I talk about you all the time in my school. You know, we read your book that you have, you know, and I always mention your name all the time in theory. But again, personally, I just want to take this time to thank you so much for what you did and being a mentor to me and my family to be successful in the business. Now Texas got to deal with my wife and I, thanks to you.
Now, I always talk about you, Glenn. There's a lot of people that know you. And I've even ran across some of your old students. It's funny how small the world is. Even when I go to these hair shows, Bonner Brothers and different places, a lot of people know you, that barber school. They know Mr. Glen.
Wow.
And I've ran into some people on Instagram. They went to your school. You know, they say we're only like 4, I guess, whatever they call it, away from each other.
Right.
So I'm very proud of you. And you just getting started. I mean, you surpassed me. When I had my schools, I never got to charge $25,000.
Wow.
So you just keep up the good work. And I just thank you for coming on here, for sharing your story. So everybody, the whole world, they'll see you. And I'm sure more people are going to be contacting you. And you're going to inspire a lot of people just by listening to this story, where you came from and where you are now, because you came from like humble beginnings, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Can you hit on that a little bit? Because you didn't tell them where you actually came from, how many brothers and sisters, just how it was.
Yes, sir. Well, I actually grew up, Chen. You know, I had a mother and father in the home, but our average income in our household was right at $11,000 a year. And coming from a home with a window AC unit, sometimes the water wasn't turned on, sometimes it was turned off. Sometimes the lights was turned on, sometimes it was turned off. Sometimes I went to school without lunch money. I had to ask some of my friends to borrow $1 for lunch. You know, those little things, Chen. I had my first car at 24. I used to walk to school as a senior in high school. In barber school, I worked 2 jobs. I worked at nighttime, and then the morning time, daytime, went to school full time. So, you know, growing up I was the first one in my family to graduate from high school. You know, I did time doing things as a young man as far as indulging in drugs. You know, things that I'm not bragging about, but I experienced those things. And to be able to escape the aftermath of it is you know, it's just a blessing to be where I'm at right now. And you know, just like I say, you know, Chen, my phone don't ring every day, but I tell my students all the time, I have a phone number. I know I can always call you up, and I know you're gonna give me some good advice. You know, and I can count on 3 fingers on people that I would call up, and you one of the first ones I would call up when I need advice in this industry. So, you know, again, I'm just blessed to overcome the things that I overcame, but I'm also blessed to have friends and people like you to network with to get me to another level.
All right. Well, I thank you a lot.
I thank you.
I got the utmost respect for you. Every time I see the hip hop preacher, I always think about you, Eric Thomas.
Oh, Eric Thomas, huh?
Yeah, with your motivation and your speeches and stuff. All right.
Yes, sir.
We'll stay in contact, and I'm gonna share this with the world. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chen. And like I say, bro, love you, man. And
love you too.
May God continue to bless you with much success because you deserve it. And like I say, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Glenn.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.